that might not be something that we would
I think I'd like to do it.
I mean, right, but technically speaking, like, we are, yeah.
Don't tell me what to do.
Right, this is a vote. I did. That's from the American government class that I spoke to yesterday. Yeah, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be a little awkward. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid.
We don't normally go into the secret room.
And is our secret room like glass?
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Christy.
Martin? Here. Schreiner?
Here.
Fontana?
Here.
Robinsky?
Here.
Stevens?
Here.
Pappenfort?
Present.
Mayor Critelli?
Present.
A quorum is present.
Great, all right, and then we'll move on to consent agenda. Any discussion or motion around the consent agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Pappenfort, seconded, or Councilmember Fontana, seconded by Councilmember Pappenfort, and that is to combine and approve the items on the consent agenda. Any further discussion?
Fontana?
Yes.
Pappenfort?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Schreiner?
Yes.
Robinsky?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Excellent. Then we move on to citizen comment. Do we have anybody signed up
That looks empty to me.
for citizen comment?
But Aaron is
Can't
gonna
see the
find it.
pen is kind of positioned. Okay, none signed up. Is there anybody online? Wow, okay, well, I mean, That's fine, no entertainment for us, but that's okay, next time.
No democracy. Yeah.
Everybody's too cold.
No, Councilmember Rinsky made a good point, is that we're doing everything right.
Oh, right.
Obviously.
That is the only
That's obviously it.
thing to deduce from that. All right, well, we will move on to proclamations. I have a proclamation here celebrating May 2026 as Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Whereas Asian and Pacific Americans have played important and essential roles throughout American and Colorado history, and whereas Salida is committed to being a welcoming and inclusive place where all residents and visitors are safe to live, work, and play, and whereas Asian and Pacific Americans have endured and overcome hardship and heartache, contributing in great and significant ways to all aspects of society by creating works of literature and art, thriving as American athletes, prospering in the world of academia and entertainment, and contributing to American civil rights movements. And whereas Asian and Pacific Americans have played a vital role in our nation's economic and technological growth by establishing successful enterprises and pushing the limits of science and healthcare, and along with all of our great servicemen and women, have defended the United States from threats of at home and abroad, serving our nation with valor. And whereas during Asian and Pacific American Heritage Month, we remember the challenges and celebrate the achievements that define our history. And now, therefore, the City of Salida does hereby proclaim and declare the month of May as Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month in Salida, Colorado, and further encourages all Salidans to observe this month with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. Okay, now we are moving on. Next thing on the agenda is potential for an executive session. Would a council member like to make a motion, perhaps?
Mr. Mayor, I move to go into executive session for the purpose of conferencing with the city attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions under CRS section 24.64024B, and for the purpose of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiation, developing strategy for negotiations, and/or instructing negotiators under CRS section 24-6-4024E. And the following additional details are provided for identification purposes: development, incentive, and fee transfer requests, and related agreement amendment requests from property owner and Colorado Housing and Finance Authority.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Schreiner, seconded by Councilmember Paffenfort, and that is to move into an executive session for the purpose of conferencing with the city attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions under CRS section 24-6-4024B, and for the purpose of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiation, developing strategy for negotiations, and/or instructing negotiators under CRS section 24-6-4024E, and the following additional details provided: development, incentives, and fee transfer requests, and related agreement amendment requests from property owner and Colorado Housing and Finance Authority. Any further discussion?
Ravinsky,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Pappencourt,
Yes.
Fontana,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Schreiner,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay. Well, we'll see you guys on the other side as we enter into the chamber of silence. Will we return?
Take my Diet Coke.
I suppose have any answers on the can, though.
There's a QR code, so you can press it.
All together, huh? Oh, F-bomb.
Message your professor. You're getting extra credit for sure. You're still here, that's great. And Rob too, you get extra credit too.
Good start.
Yeah.
Well, emotional regulation is severely lacking in most individuals. No, it's not okay. It's the cause of many divorces.
Well, this is true.
Yeah. That's why relationships don't work.
You know, it is so awkward standing this close to the fire.
That's why I always relocate myself.
No, it's weirdly silent, especially for us.
Oh, we're all here. Cool. Let's see. The time is now 7:24. And the executive session has been concluded. The participants in the executive session were council members Shelley Schreiner, Aaron Stevens, Suzanne Fontana, Joey Ravinsky, Elisa Pappenfort, Acting City Administrator Russ Johnson, City Clerk Christy Keller, City Attorney Nina Williams, Community Development Director Bill Almquist, Public Works Director David Lady, Senior Planner Kristen Hodges, and Finance Director Amy Tahanovich. For the record, if any person who, and myself, Mayor Justin Critelli. For the record, if any person who participated in the executive session believes that any substantial discussion of any matters not included in the motion to go into the executive session occurred during the executive session, or that any improper action occurred during the executive session in violation of the open meetings law, I would ask that you state your concerns for the record. And seeing none, we can move on to item number 7, flour mill fee transfer request.
Okay, before you today is your very first request under the new policy established earlier this year for the affordable housing fee transfer policy. And the flour mill project, which is an affordable housing project, is requesting an incentive of 20 of the deed restricted units in the form of a reduction in water and wastewater tap fees. The total fees under our new fee structure are $142,810, and the reduction in fees is $71,671, leaving the amount payable by the developer of $71,139. And according to our policy, we need to keep the water and wastewater fund whole if any fees are negotiated beyond what's in our our approved fee schedule. So the funding will be made by a transfer from the housing fund. And the policy calls for a financial analysis, which is what I've done. I looked at an updated projection beyond the budget of what is expected to be in the housing fund based on what is currently committed in the budget and where spending seems to be projecting out to. And it does look like at the end of this year, we will have at least $61,581,000. And I do need to point out that the numbers on this worksheet do include the flour mill incentives previously agreed to, but we do not anticipate all of those being paid out this year. And the request that's being made for this year, 50% is likely to be paid this year, and 50% of the system development fees are due next year. Do you have any questions?
And then the matching funds are not in our budget.
They are not, yeah, this is correct. This is a request that's coming outside of the budget cycle, so it was not anticipated in the budget.
And then some of the other hits on the housing fund, if you will, increased infrastructure costs at South Arc. A lot of uncertainty around the First and D Street projects.
That's correct.
Places to age. We've got a lot of things going on that will hit the housing fund.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any further questions of staff on this matter, or Amy in particular? Okay, any discussion amongst council? Okay,
Well,
any
Did you have something?
Please go ahead.
Go for it. I think there should be discussion about it, at least a little bit, talking about, I mean, the requested amount is 71,671. And there is pushback against that, and I understand that. I would like to offer a compromise of a dollar amount that is not the full requested amount. And I wonder if council has any appetite for that.
I'm certainly interested in hearing some about that. I'm not comfortable taking the fund into a negative in any way. That's definitely something I couldn't support, but I'm open to hearing what you'd be putting on the table. I have some anxiety about how low the fund is projected to end. I think I recently, just now, kind of come to understand we would not necessarily be talking about that whole $71,000 right now. It would be just half of that. So that's helpful because now we're not really talking about bringing that down to zero. And so just the mechanics of it are helpful to understand in that way. I think it's a tough balance because this is the project that's closest that we have available to doing the thing, right? And the people, the public has expressed, they want the vertical construction, they want it happening, they want to see units being built. And I want that too. And I also, given the uncertainty around First and D and some of the challenges that we've been experiencing with projects that the city is driving, as opposed to being in partnership with a developer, there needs to be some balance between getting the shovel in the ground on this one that's primed and ready to go versus making sure that we have some flexibility and some ability to pivot and to take advantage of opportunities that come along, especially around the First and D project. So I think we need to balance those two things. So I would be very interested in hearing what, you would have to put on the table in that way.
Right. So the request is for 71,671. If you can bring up the amount that is in the fund or would be in the fund, I think it's 61,581. I think bringing it to zero would be giving 61,581. I would like to see a $35,000 used for this.
Okay,
Okay.
discussion around that.
Yes, and one more thing to bring in, that it says the fees are charged at 40% for affordable housing units. And in saying that, that's already a discount, correct? So we're already going in with a discount for this project, with the fees that we are charging them. And then this is an additional to that, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Our adopted fee schedule is roughly $7,000 for affordable projects and more like $18,000 for normal.
Okay, can you say that one more time?
Yeah, the system development fees run roughly $7,000 for both water and wastewater for an affordable project, affordable housing project. And a residential single-family housing project, the costs are closer to $18,000, $17,800.
Okay, so do you know how much that is already? What that discount is? Well, it's not a discount. It's a reduced affordable housing unit
Right.
rate.
Yeah, and I guess it's 40%.
40%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're proposing 35,000.
And a follow-up question for that, sorry, Amy. This project, so a typical affordable housing project, does this project go farther than what we consider a typical one?
I can't answer that, Bill.
Okay.
That's what I hear,
Sorry, I don't
but
mean
yeah.
to give you a
That's
tough
what
one,
she's
but-
heard.
The discount is applied to each unit that is affordable. So whether a developer has 1 unit out of 20 or 10 out of 20, it would be, the fee would be assessed on a per unit basis.
Gotcha, okay, I understand. Thank you.
Okay, the 35,000 then is what we would like to talk about.
Yeah, it sounds like that's what's thrown out there.
So right now, where we're at with the, with the 671, right now we're at 35,000 is what's due out of that 671, right? So that'd be, so if we're lowering the 71,000 to 35,000, then we're gonna take, then what would we take?
Half of that, I
Half of that.
suppose it would be due now, right? Half?
We do with that?
Half would be due now. If we took a number, 35,000, half of that would be 32.5, would be due, no,
Yeah, if you-
half of the 35.
If you reduced
17.
If you reduce the overall system development fees by $35,000, that would equal approximately $107,000 total due. We, at time of building permit, would collect half of that, so $53,500. And then we would collect the other $53,500 at CO.
And that would be half
Housing fund would pay
Yeah.
half of the 35,000.
now. Well, at the time of
Correct.
the permit now, so that would reduce that fund by half of the 35,000 and now, and then half of it would be reduced. We'd have time to
Do you do
build it
that way,
up.
Or would you just move it
Yeah,
all?
so now we're thinking 35, half of 35,000 now,
Probably half.
when the permits are put in, and then when CO,
Yeah.
they'll pay it up to the 35,000 total.
Right.
Can I ask a question? I might be asking you to speculate on something that you're not able to speculate on, and if that's the case, I apologize. So that takes us from 61 to 17,000 or thereabouts projected at the end of the year. I mean, at that point, I guess I'm wanting to make sure that we're not putting out a dollar amount that makes everybody feel good, that leaves the developer without a whole lot of benefit and us without enough money in the fund to actually be
Yeah,
worth anything.
that table is very much an estimate.
projection,
Those are not
yeah.
precise numbers. And, like I already stated, the 175,000 portion of the 375,000 incentive is not going to be paid out this year, more than likely. So.
Can you say, can I make sure I
So
understand what
we'll
you mean by that?
probably end up with closer to, 200 and some $1,000 at the end of the year, because we're not paying out that 172,000 until next year.
But we're still going to pay it out.
But we're still going to pay it out. It's committed now,
Yeah, it's not like it just goes away.
right?
It's
And
still
then
an
next year, we'll
expense.
have more revenue coming in to help.
Right. It's kind of hard to
Understand.
track because we don't really know what those numbers are.
No
gonna-
positive
that
answer if
impact.
we're gonna go into negatives or not, right?
I mean, bottom line, I think what this illustrates is the fund is very tight. We don't have a lot of money, when we first started the fund, it was growing. We've committed it all out. We can easily spend that 61,000 on other projects. We have a lot in the works right now, so.
I also wanted to mention, in the CAF, you said that a previous council had expressed that they wanted to keep something in this fund in reserve for flexibility to be able to pivot on projects and things like that.
Yes, it's been expressed, but actually it was this council that mentioned that, when you adopted the policy, I remember a discussion on would it make sense, and I thought you guys brought that up last time too, to reserve a certain percent every year for fee transfer purposes, rather than fully committing it towards our own projects.
Okay.
Maybe I misunderstood that, but that's why I let you know what the annual income that just flows into that account typically is.
I doubt you understood it wrong. I also had conversation with a previous council
Okay.
representative to clarify that. And so I think it's maybe been mentioned more than one time.
Okay.
As a sidebar, if that's guidance that we want to give ourselves, I think it's important for us to specify what that is. Because if we're going to give ourselves that guidance and then not say what that means, we're just going to end up in this conversation again in a year or 2 years or whatever. But that's here nor there. That's a different
We could
conversation.
propose a work
for-
session.
Yeah,
at
that's a
later
different
date.
conversation for a different time. So I just wanted to mention that and say, without guidance of what the portion is, I would say it is important to keep something on the, with the caveat of being like, what is a meaningful amount that actually does something for us, as opposed to like, we're keeping this dollar amount in this fund so that we feel good about it, but it's not gonna get anybody anywhere.
Right.
And I
then it
don't
could-
know that any of us have a way of like you say, that's a work session topic.
Sure.
But I did
All we
want
are
to call
doing
that out,
is-
right?
yeah.
Because it's in the CAF and it has been part of this conversation. And so it's been mentioned more than one time that we shouldn't take this fund to zero.
Yeah, so really what we're talking about with this number is optics as far as, I believe this to be an olive branch. Because we don't really know what we're going to have in the fund at the end of the day, or if this amount is just going to change the positioning of just being it's still in a problem for the developer also. I think it's just, it seems like, okay, we're trying to, this is a compromise, I guess. Is
Right, I think
what
a
it's being
compromise with
presented as.
a project that is closest out of kind of all the projects and
Sure.
very, what's the word, ambitious. So I think, I understand not going to zero. I'm conceding that. However, I do think 35 or an amount close to that would be very helpful because it is greater than zero and they are coming with the ask.
Right, and I just worry, well, not worry, but my concern goes back to, it's not in the budget. It goes back to, there's a lot of areas where we have other projects, and I understand this is the most ambitious project of any, besides the First and D is coming, the South Arc is coming, the Places to Age is there, depending on what else is coming, this is the most ambitious, it's the closest. But also, we talk about leveraging that for grants or using that possibly to get other grants. If it goes down to $20,000 or something like that, how big of a use for that is that for us? And if we take that 35, I'm not saying that's nothing because that's a lot of money. Is that just a tiny amount to throw at this developer and this project? Would it make a significant difference in this project?
Right. I think the percentage is large. I mean, it's 50% of their ask. So that's large. I guess I don't disagree that the actual number amount is that going to move the needle at all. But if they're asking for 71 and we're willing to give 50%, I think that's a large number or a large portion. But I don't think we know the difference. How much leverage does 60,000 get us, 61, whatever get us? And how much leverage does 25 get us? Is the difference there enough to stop us? I don't think we know that, but we have someone in front of us asking for help on an affordable housing project from the Affordable Housing Fund. So I hear the concerns, but I think some amount is what it's for, and I would like to use it for that.
And you're putting trust on replenishment of that fund being, being negligible then.
Yeah, I think the reality that short-term rentals exist is
Okay.
there, so.
Fair.
Well, and historically, correct me if what I'm about to say is not an accurate representation, about quarterly, historically, it's been about $150,000, give or take, that goes into that fund.
Yeah, the short-term rental tax projection is 560 with the business license fees tied to that about another 168. So that's, I can't do math in my head. It's roughly, yeah, a little bit less than 200,000, about 180,000.
Sure, so in a quarter's worth of a year, so, 3 months.
Yeah.
Arguably, we had to have brought back in what we've expended and then some to give again, not really knowing what a dollar amount is that's meaningful for us to leverage on pivoting on grants or whatever on other projects. Presuming that we bring in roughly the same, 200,000, even if you do to reduce tourism or whatever, that you drop that down, it's still gonna bring money back into that, barring, chaos on existing projects. So it's not like it's gonna take a whole nother year to replenish that necessarily. It comes back in a somewhat reasonable timeframe. And if we're talking, I mean, like, again, I'm saying lots of things that are not proven, we don't know, but it's not like it's going to take a whole year to get back what we are proposing to expend to this person.
So
Well, it's
on
going to
the
take to some
project, not
point in
person.
27, because she's already fleshed out
Sure.
what she expects in 26.
Say again?
She's already fleshed out what she expects
Correct,
to earn in
yes.
26.
Right.
Sure. And so, yeah, on this topic, is there any other thoughts that council has?
Well, I mean, I wish that we could give Rob what he's asking for, but I can't forget all the things that I know. This money's not in the budget. Staff cut $1 million out of the budget we're working in. It is the tightest budget that we've ever seen. And so making concessions to water when the citizens are already paying increased rates because of the sewer pipe going into Poncha Springs, it's just too much for me to approve any hit to the enterprise fund that is our water and sewer. I also know that we are facing a plant replacement, so I cannot hit that fund in conscience. I just know too many things. I
I'm sorry,
want to
am I
help
missing
Ron-
something? Because I thought all of the,
This
I
would be a
thought
fee
everything is,
transfer.
yeah, it's coming from the Affordable Housing Fund. This isn't coming from the general fund or the wastewater fund or anything like that. This is coming from money that already, that is restricted to this purpose, yes? Yes. Okay.
So the only hit would be our affordable housing fund would take the hit.
Right.
But the point remains that we've cut $1 million out of the budget already, and this is not in the budget. And we're having cost overruns, you know? And so I cannot in good conscience say yes. I love the idea, and I wish I could embrace it wholeheartedly, but I can't.
I think, I would agree with you completely if it was an ask from the general fund, but this is an ask from the Affordable Housing Fund. I think that's the difference for me, is this is a affordable housing fees requested from the Affordable Housing Fund, and the budget for this particular fund has over 60,000 not accounted for, which I want to leverage an amount of it for sure, but I think an amount of it is open to be used for an affordable housing project that is closest and most ambitious. I think that's a good use of the funds that we can see in yellow that are excess from what has been budgeted out. I think that's where I'm open to throwing some money at it, because at the end, there is an amount that's not spoken for. Not all of it, because I want to leverage it, but I think some of it.
But I think what your point goes back to is, yes, the number is there, but it was not in our projected budget to use this. So it doesn't hurt to keep it there and to say, okay, next year we need to figure out, what are we going to use this for? Are there going to be cost overruns for other things that are happening? I just keep going back to the budget. And I understand this is to be used for affordable housing. I understand this is an affordable housing fund. Obviously, we have used it for that, for the entire year, last year, this year, since it was established. How long have we had this fund, Amy? Do you know?
5 years, is that about right? Yeah.
And after 5 years, it has gone up and down, so we have definitely used it. I mean, I can see where we used it, and I think that's a good thing. So we are using what it is intended for.
Yeah, it sounds like we're divided between using these funds for what is being presented to us currently and reserving funds for a multitude of other projects that we do have. I mean, South Arc presenting all kinds of budgetary curveballs, I think we could call it. So it sounds like as long as we can stick to just, the prioritization of the use of those funds, because it's not a piggy bank. It's not meant to, storing cash. It's really about how you want to see it utilized most effectively. So that does sound like where we're at, where we're kind of divided between what that is, if this is the most effective, or if saving for the rainy day that might encircle South Arc, or, so I am open to entertaining a motion for sure.
Well, I am hearing 35 and 0. Is there another number that might be more palatable to the council? Or is it 0 or?
I'm going to ask a question that might give everyone a heart attack. Is there a scenario in which we table this and go to the developer and ask what a meaningful number and a helpful number might be that's not $71,000? Am I like mucking up the entire situation right now?
I think that'd be helpful.
I just feel like making the,
You could ask him now.
I can ask him now. Rob,
Cool.
not to put you on the spot or anything, buddy, but do you have a number in mind that's not 71,000? That's helpful and meaningful?
Well, I'll give you guys an idea of some of the finances around this project. It's a 20-unit apartment complex that everything in the apartment complex has a 82.5% AMI deed restriction on the entire apartment. So nothing is above 100% AMI there. Costs about $7 million. So we've seen cost overages on everything in the last few years, this being one of them, as well as other things. I know that the city has seen that. I know that everyone's seen those things. The reality is any reduction in that is super helpful for me. We're not exactly sure that there's like an exact dollar amount that would be most helpful. $35,000 would make a huge difference. You don't get anything if you don't ask. And so I'm here to ask for help because it increased substantially. I outlaid this, it wasn't talked about as much, but initially when we were planning some of the fees, my fees have gone up over 200%. Most homes have increased 30% in that time for tap fees specifically. It's not to say that the system isn't fair now or not, it's just that the increases have been substantial for us. On an affordable housing project of this magnitude that can have a big impact, a over 200% increase in something like a tap fee seems substantial to me. Regardless of what's considered fair, where money is or where money isn't. Just like the city, we're struggling with money too. We're trying to make sure this happens, and I very much believe it will. But yes, really at that point, any dollar amount that we can reduce this is helpful.
Cool, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Brad. So yeah, I guess if there were to be a dollar amount, what would that be? Or
I mean,
standing firm on 0?
yeah, I'm not comfortable myself, with the new, information that was presented to us not too long ago about all of our dedicated projects seeing, substantial, funding setbacks and taking this money that we do have kind of that isn't, for certain projects, knowing that that's there, helps me sleep a little bit better at night, knowing that that's going to help the projects that are underway, and future ones that are coming too. If we take that down to 0, it just doesn't, or below that, it just doesn't seem like good business to me, and I just can't get behind, really going that route. And I don't really know what number is really going to be a number that sits well and actually, does what we'd like it to, for sure. We, at the same time, this project is a once in a lifetime project. I know the affordability is, housing that this will provide is, you know, like I say, once in a lifetime kind of thing that's going to come by. But yeah, just knowing that money there's not going to be there if we, you know, make the decision tonight is, you know, not one that I can really, you know, stand behind, I don't think.
So that's 0 for me then?
I think I'm at kind of a 0.
Okay.
Councilperson Fontana, is there a number that might work for you for a
Yeah, I was
once-in-a-lifetime
just trying to do
affordable
some-
housing
Do,
that's
I was all
incredibly
calculating.
ambitious?
Yeah, I just hate for that 61 to go away, but it's not going away if we're investing it in housing. I'm not saying it's going away if we invest that in this affordable housing fund. So when I say I don't want it to go away, we're trying to use it for what it is designed for. So, you know, just throwing a number out there, I hate to do that because I think what's going to happen, just like you said, you can't predict the future. So let's say we took 20% and the 61,581, and we did 20% of that towards this project. Came up to $12,000. I'm just throwing a number out there, but let's say South Arc is now coming over budget and we have to use some of this money for that. Maybe we stick with a 20% to not give, but to designate towards that. And then First and D, and we say, it seems like we should come up with a system, not just say, here's 35 to you, and here's 20 to you, and here's 10 to you. Maybe we come up with, and you can't do it tonight, maybe we just come up with a number, but my number I just came up with in my head is 20% of what's left in that fund until we can make a significant improvement in what is there in the balance this year. So I know that's not a lot. I know that's not what the developer's asking for. But like you said, anything makes a difference in a project like this. Anything can help another unit come available. Anything can make these 20 units keep going. So I'm comfortable with that. Leaving still a fund in there, using that even though it's not in the budget, that's what I'm comfortable with. I don't know what.
And we just don't know what the South Arc infrastructure cost overruns look like, but we do know that with infrastructure, we're looking at big numbers. And so that is what worries me the most in this situation. What is that going to be? Because that's immediate. And we see that we've already taken $1 million of income out of the budget because it's just not even going to happen this year. Mm-hmm. So we don't want that infrastructure to be stuck in a weird state of incompletion. You know, just like we took that project and said, let's fix the rest of Poncha Boulevard because they're here with the machines and it's going to save us money. We don't want to hamstring ourselves that we have to abandon a project and then pay top dollar to bring everybody back and finish it. That's my real fear.
And the infrastructure in South Arc is already going.
It's going.
Yeah. And knowing that money's there, just, yeah, because I mean, when they send those invoices in for the work that's already being done, and those invoices don't get paid, like you say, that work stops. And if we don't have the money
Okay, so maybe I'm
to
not
pay,
comfortable.
Well,
we,
I just have a sneaking
We're gonna-
suspicion that the 61,000 ain't gonna cover it.
no.
That just goes without saying. Whereas we have a developer here that says any bit helps. South Arc is more of like, it's a whale. It's gonna, you know.
Gonna take that and more.
And to go
Something to
back
keep us
to
up
what,
at night.
like, we've heard from the public about what they want to see happen. And in the absence of any kind of diversification strategy or any real strategy of any kind around how we make decisions about how to spend this money, I mean, we're hearing from the public, they want units getting built. And we all know it's more complicated than that, but if we are trying to take this fund that people are paying into and invest in a variety of different projects that will get housing built, this one's ready. So like, not saying we put all the money into it, but if we don't have a stated strategy of how we're going to allocate this money in a diverse fashion and with some sort of comprehensive plan, it feels to me like, yeah, we might be plucking a number out of the air, but this developer is ready to do the thing. And we are in partnership with them in a lot of ways. But it's like, are we perfect enemy of the good right now? Or do we need to just like pull a chunk off and say, sure, we have not stated as a team what our strategy for allocating these funds diversely and strategically is. So in lieu of that, we have someone who's asking us to contribute to the thing that people are saying they want, which is units getting built. Can we take some part of this to help offset that?
I think I'm ready to put forward a motion if you're open to that, Mayor.
Yeah, I'm open to it.
I move to approve a fee transfer in the amount of $12,000 from the Affordable Housing Fund to the Water and Wastewater Fund. Is that how it needs to be stated for this?
How much was the amount? again?
12,000.
12,000.
So we're going with the 35.
12, that would be 20%.
Yeah, from the Affordable Housing Fund to the Water and Wastewater Fund.
Second.
Okay. Do we have further discussion around any of that from council? Do we have a potential amendment language that?
No, that's for the next
That's for the
item.
next.
Thank you.
The next thing. Thanks for reminding me on that. Cool. Well, we have a motion on the table, and that is from Councilmember Ravinsky, seconded by Councilmember Schreiner, and that is to approve a fee transfer of $12,000 from the Affordable Housing Fund to the Water and Wastewater Fund as it applies to this discussion. Okay, seeing no further discussion.
I feel like,
Oh,
I'm sorry. I
we
feel
do
like-
have a further
I
discussion.
did. I feel like
Hold it.
if we're looking, a minute ago I was at 0, but I can stand behind these numbers if this is where we're at.
And I would make a final comment that it's only because this project is more than 50%
Right.
affordable housing overall. And this particular part of it, I believe, is all affordable housing. We would not do this in any other situation. It would have to be 50% or more. This is not a normal negotiation.
Thank you, Councilmember.
I think all of us up here wish that there was more money in that fund and wish we could
Yeah.
do this full thing the way he's asking us to do it, but we can't
Yeah.
pull that one off right now.
And again, I don't think it could be understated that as far as like precedent setting for the people watching, this is setting a precedence if you do provide a project for us that's more than 50% affordable. Any further discussion?
Let's vote.
All right, let's vote.
Stevens,
Yes.
Ravinsky,
Yes.
Peppenfort,
Yes.
Schreiner,
Yes.
Fontana,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay. Democracy at work, guys. Now moving on to Resolution 2026-15, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Salida, Colorado, approving an amended and restated incentive and development agreement with Biker and Baker Holdings LLC related to the flour mill development. And that is
Hello.
Attorney Williams.
Yes, thank you. So this agreement originally was approved by you all as a council in the city via ordinance on October 1st, 2024 through resolution 2024-60, approving an incentive and development agreement. We're now asking for it to be amended Some of the units in my, mentioned in the CAF are not accurate, and that's going to be part of the amendment, is that it's at least, this development incentive agreement is if the units are at least 61 permanently restricted affordable units or more to get these special amendments. But basically, this development has been secured significant Prop 123 affordable housing funds through the Colorado Housing and Financing Authority, also known as CHAFA. Their attorneys have reached out and they want to amend this agreement, or they're requiring this agreement to be amended as it relates to Lot 13, and that's where the permanently affordable 20-unit apartment building will be constructed and developed. So the updated agreement is in your packet, and the amendments that I will ask, if you are to approve, will be to tweak where it says 35 units, change that back to 61. We do recommend, since what you had just decided, that we add that to section 2A of the agreement, because you reduce a reduction of system development fees by the 12,000. That would change the math in 5D to a $387,000 total incentive. And then just to give the opportunity, which is already in the resolution, for the city attorney to make the amendment to the agreement, just to make sure it's all conforming changes, so we're not rushed. And I will give that to the city clerk by tonight or tomorrow for the mayor's signature, if you guys will approve this as written with those amendments. Are there any questions?
Questions? Comments? A motion?
Again, I think it is very ambitious, this project. I think this one will be, this building, this Lot 13, will be huge for the city of Salida, for everything involved here with this, the units that are coming online, hopefully, and we can get going with this. So as long as there's some other language that Nina can give us, I'd be willing to make a motion unless somebody else wants to have discussion.
I guess the amended language would come after a motion.
Oh, after the motion, so you make this motion
Right,
to approve it.
right.
Then we amend it.
Because a
Yes.
motion could totally just be like, we're just throwing this into a dumpster, right? So,
Oh, no.
so there'd be nothing to amend if.
It could be done either way, but yeah.
Okay.
And we can? Okay, cool.
I think I'd be more comfortable if it was the motion rather than the amendment.
Okay.
And
Because if we
Great.
make the.
that works as well.
If we make the motion, then if the amendment isn't accepted, then the motion could be, I'd rather it be the motion.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it could be done either way, yeah.
Okay, so what would the amended language be?
Well, would you want to make a motion, or would you want me to supplement it to help you? I mean, you have to make the motion. I'm just a lawyer, but is that what you wanted to make a motion to approve
Trying to
as
just-
already stated? Okay, so I'll state it and then I'll make.
All one.
Make it all at
Yeah.
one.
So the recommended motion would be to approve this resolution, and as stated within the resolution, giving the mayor the ability to execute all necessary amendments that are associated with such approval, subject to final approval by the city attorney, and those include increasing anywhere it says 35 units back to 61, which was in the original agreement, 61 permanently permanently restricted affordable housing units. To add to section 2A, the reduction of the system development fees or the free transfer that you just approved, the $12,000. Along with that, for 5D, to increase the incentive that is being given in total from 375 to 387, that's the additional 12,000. And any conforming legal amendments that I see are necessary but not substantive.
So moved.
So do we have to say all
So
that
moved.
back now?
Can I get away with the so moved?
Well, I guess a motion and then with the added amendments as stated by legal counsel.
Okay, I move to approve Resolution 2026-15, to approve the amended and restated incentive and development agreement with Biker Baker Holdings LLC related to the flour mill development with the amendment as stated by Attorney Williams.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion made by Councilmember Papenfort, seconded by Councilmember Shriner, and that is to approve Resolution 2026-15 to approve the amended and restated incentive and development agreement with Biker and Baker Holdings LLC related to the Flour Mill development, and with the additional amendments as stated by City Attorney Nina Williams. Any further discussion?
Is this, yeah, I do have a question. So,
Second time I almost got you.
sorry. We're approving the amendment to this, which we will then sign. And
Yeah.
then the other party that will sign this is the developer, Biker and Baker Holdings, right?
Correct.
And so do we need to make sure this is approved, like that they're, if this is what they're asking for? I'm sorry, this is a question that might be.
I think this just encompasses the changes that we made to the system development fees, well as or what the amount of 12,000.
Right, so the agreement I had sent to the developer and their attorney, and then also CHAFA approved it, which is a very important part, because we're really amending this mostly for CHAFA to go forward with the Prop 123 funds. The only thing I have to change, the original agreement had said 61, that the 61 of the units should be permanently restricted. I had moved to 35 because long story, it was incorrect. So we're just moving 35 back to 61, which was in the original agreement, and which I'm told the community development director spoke with the developer about that. And then I'm just adding the $12,000 that you agreed to transfer, just so it's all in one place, that you're doing the open space fees, the public infrastructure, and the reduction of system development fees, and then we're just increasing that dollar amount in the defaults in the remedy section by that extra 12,000, and then again, anywhere we see 35, increasing it to the 60 or 61 units.
Yeah, I guess because I'm writing contracts a lot in my works, and if I'm going to sign something, I make sure the other side, it does what they want it to before I finish it. So it sounds like it is.
That's what I'd asked Bill to double check with Rob, and the discrepancy was that and it's a good question, so everyone can hear, the subdivision improvement agreement had said the 35, so that's what the land use approval is. And then the development and incentive had said, the previous one from October 2024 had said 61. So we're just putting it back, that if you're gonna get these extra development incentives, that the units have to have at least 61 permanently restricted affordable. But that's a great question, and we made sure, we always make sure of it, but that's good
Okay.
for you to check for everyone, and also for the public's sake.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks for that clarification.
And then, may I say for the public's sake, that we're honoring our original agreement on holding the prices that we had negotiated that were in effect in 2024.
For the open space fees.
Thank you.
Yeah, so the difference, this is already in the packet, but in the, what I call amended and restated incentive and development agreement, we clarify that it says a 50% reduction in open space fees calculated as of October 1st, 2024, the effective date of the original incentive and development agreement.
Thank you.
Okay. I think we're ready for a vote. Roll call.
Papenfort,
Yes.
Fontana,
Yes.
Rovinsky,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Shriner,
Yes.
motion passed.
All right, we've made it to council reports, which is the best part of the meeting, by the way.
You stayed for a reason.
For so long, thank you. I do want to just say that is,
They did.
I spoke at an American government class at the high school, and they were here for extra credit. Definitely, I don't know if it was worth it. It's probably an extra 10 points on a test. It's probably not worth it at all for them, but hey, I'm glad they were here. All right, so council reports. We move on to Councilmember Fontana.
All right. So my first part of this is that at my business, I got an email from the city of Salida, which was wonderful. It had it was from Sarah Law, and it was called the Banner Program downtown. I don't know if anybody knows about that, but I would like to ask for some support on that. So the Banner Program is to where a business can invest and put an advertising banner along with the city of Salida on a light pole downtown. There are certain amounts of those poles for sale. I thought it was a wonderful thing, except that I would love to ask for some support to tie in the highway and the Two Rivers Commons. We have way more light poles than just downtown. So I would like to ask for, I know that I had made some calls to Sarah. I talked to I talked to our administrator, not our chief, the different hat, and asked him about it, and he said I would have to ask for some support for that to get continued to go along the highway and for Two Rivers Commons, if anybody wants to. I think we need to check with CDOT, isn't that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just to touch on that, you would have to check, or we will have to check with CDOT for right-of-way restrictions, and Excel actually owns all the light poles, so we don't own any rights to hang anything. They would have to approve it.
Right, and they approved this stuff downtown, a certain amount, correct?
That's the city.
They did. They approved the downtown. It's a little convoluted. They approved it initially, and then as it went up the chain, it got kind of shot down. But since they already initially approved it, they're allowing us to do it for this year.
And it's at a cost to a business, which is they are making an investment in advertising along with the city of Salida using our poles. They would pay us an additional revenue stream is the way I looked at it, which I thought it was wonderful. So,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I would certainly be in support of that. I would also be open to investigating a dynamic price model because some light posts are better than others.
okay, thank you.
Just a piece of context to keep in mind when we're looking into that is I believe that the downtown ones were provided in part by the downtown Good
Merchants?
Colorado, boy, I'm going to get it wrong. It's the Pro Downtown Colorado organization. And say again?
Downtown Colorado.
Downtown Colorado Inc. So they played a big part in the ones that are downtown. So just keeping in mind that it's a potential new revenue stream, but there could be costs associated with expanding it outside of downtown that were not in the initial project, because I know that those were provided in part by that organization.
Right, and I know that as I looked at that from a business perspective, it was not cheap to invest. So I understand that those businesses would pay for that.
I'm sure we'll get all kinds of information back from
Yep.
staff as we
So
move forward.
thank you for the support. Second thing, actually the last thing, I did speak with Chaffey County Sheriff, and I did speak with some people from Chaffey County Search and Rescue South. They did put out a very nice letter that will be in the paper, has gone out on all kinds of social media streams, and I kind of just wanted to touch on it, didn't want to read the whole thing. So it says, on behalf of Chaffey County Search and Rescue South, we extend our deepest condolences to the family and loved ones of Caden Seitz. Over the 10 days following Caden's disappearance on April 15th, our teams and partners conducted an extensive search across the rugged terrain of, oh my gosh, lots of areas, the whole San Isabel National Forest, including with his recovery on April 25th. We were grateful we were able to bring him home. They wanted to thank Caden's family, friends, the grace that they had, and the man hours and the people that were involved in that, along with tons of our local businesses. This is a longtime local family, and our local businesses really stepped up. Also, organizations that have not worked together for years came together. They had some rifts here and there. The Colorado Parks and Wildlife, Search and Rescue South, Search and Rescue North, the Sheriff's Department, Western Colorado University, Arapahoe County, the Reach Helicopter, BVCC Search Team, along with dog search teams. The response, I just wanted to share that the response, I know this family, and from this community, it was just extraordinary. So I just want to put that out to everyone that was thinking of them or involved in some way. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of those people and businesses in that.
Absolutely.
And that's all.
Thank you. Let's see. Councilmember Stevens.
Nothing for me tonight.
Councilmember Ravinsky.
I have a couple of things I'd love some help with. So the first one, regarding Prost, I'd like to instruct staff to work with the new finance director when they come on board to present during budget season a comprehensive overview of what expanding the aquatic center would look like physically and especially financially. And I would like this to include the possibility of using a loan to bring the project to reality. Could I get any support for that?
Yeah, at least investigate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as the work session that we had, the last work session that sustainability talked about some of those recycling and other policy ideas. I would like to instruct staff to fully explain and recommend policies regarding the recycling presentation during our last work session. Because it's an extensive list, my ordering of importance would be recycling infrastructure for multifamily housing, hauler licensing, recycling education, commercial composting, and finally, hauler standardization. Asking for support there as well.
Yeah, I think they're already on that, aren't they?
Well, it sounded like it was a little nebulous, so I'd like to directly in council
Nail it
session.
down.
Yeah.
Was that the messaging you got from the presenters?
The presenters, no, I thought they did a great job.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I just want to make sure they don't have any questions, that we are instructing
okay.
them to come back to us with some ideas for that.
Okay.
So,
Yes, I support you
Yes,
in this
support.
endeavor.
Yes, we've all
Maybe.
supported.
Wonderful. That's the end of my report.
is that everything?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Councilmember Shriner.
Yes, I wanted to say many, many thanks to our local law enforcement department. I was at Ramsden Alleys on Sunday, and I will not take you all down the rabbit hole of the gritty details, but there was an incident, and it was really scary, and there were a lot of kids around, and we called 911, and law enforcement and community service showed up and had a really comprehensive and really compassionate, as much as could be extended to someone who was really threatening and scaring a lot of people. The response was really timely, and it really did a lot for the folks involved. It was super scary. And so, the law enforcement that showed up did an awesome job, and it just made me really happy to be part of the team that, can respond like that. And I gave them a wave and city council, thanks you. But I wanted to publicly say thanks to that. It was really helpful, and it was a great response. And so just wanted to give a shout out, because I know y'all don't have quite enough people, but they showed up and they did a great job. Speaking of public safety, it's downtown season. It's getting congested. I have a Vespa-style scooter, and I have to tell you how fun it is, and it really helps so that I don't have to sit in traffic, and I can park on the sidewalk if I want, and I look super cool in my Speed Racer helmet, and it's a lot of fun. And it's also really important for us to all be aware of what the rules are around modes of transportation that are not with four wheels. There's a lot of e-bikes, there's a lot of, I guess, tiny motorbikes. I don't even know what that means, but apparently it's very popular with the kids. And I think it's really important for us to all know that there's a difference between an e-bike and a motorbike. There are speed regulations, there are safety regulations, there are age limits, and there are even some license requirements. And Salida PD has a really helpful section on their website in the frequently asked questions, which outlines all the different types of these e-bike, motorcycle, et cetera, gives you all the rules about it. I think that some of the downtown business owners have already seen some really concerning situations happening, both public safety-wise for pedestrians, but also for some of the kiddos riding these vehicles, without helmets or without supervision. And so as we're getting into the season where there's a lot of people on foot down there and where it's really busy, so maybe we're trying to mitigate some congestion, I can attest, it's really fun and it's super cool and it does cut down on a lot of annoyance, but it's really on all of us and especially I think on parents who are letting their kiddos use these vehicles to know what's important, what the requirements are and what's safe and just keeping a close eye on that because it could potentially be a really big problem. And so we want to just remember that not every e-bike is just an e-bike. Sometimes it's a motorcycle. We interviewed finance director candidates, and it was awesome, and I'm not really sure if I'm supposed to say anything more about that, so I'm not going to, except to say that it was really cool, and I think it's really important, and we spoke with some really qualified candidates, and I'm looking forward to budget creation. I know that's a nerdy thing to say, but it is totally why I came here, and I'm really looking forward to like helping support people with budget creation and being really strategic about how we put all these pieces together to create the vision of the city that we're looking for. So I felt very lucky to be there and I'm super excited. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Pappenfort.
I'm going to go with Happy Cinco de Mayo. That is it for me.
Right on. Okay, I have a couple of things, and yes, thank you for all that thoughtful reporting, and especially on the search for Cadence. That was an unbelievable effort, and it's just another reminder of why we're the greatest place that you could live, because we are really familial in that way. The search was incredible, that the amount of effort that went into that. Let's see, a couple of things. May 16th from 11 to 4, the community center is having a 250th anniversary, party barbecue. Suggested donation for adults is $10, and for kids is $5. And, just showing support for the community center and everything that they do. They're really doing an amazing job there. So attendance, that would be cool. I got, this is sad. I won't be here on the 16th because also the gun shop is doing a barbecue and they wanted for me to ask somebody either on council or representing the city to do the dunk tank. And I'm like, no, I wanted to be in the dunk tank.
Man,
So
I almost
bad.
said yes to that when I thought I was just going to have to speak.
I know. You can probably speak, but from the dunk tank. So anyways, they are looking for a volunteer. I am so remiss that I'm going to miss my first opportunity at a dunk tank. But if nobody steps up, I guess I could ask the vice mayor too, Vice.
Can't make any commitments now, but
Okay. Just know, if you have a hankering, reach out to me and I'll reach out to them.
what was the date of that?
Yeah, Saturday, May 16th. Yeah, so I promised that I would bring that up to you guys. Let's see, Steve Chapman with Salida Walking Tours is asking if there is a time. It was the first year that I was on council, we did a tour, and it was as a council, and it was amazing the amount of information he has on just the rich history of Salida, and the way he presents it. He is, coming back to doing it full swing after Memorial Day. So I think maybe just figuring out maybe a date or a time where that might be something we could swing. It's an amazing amount of information, and I think it's important for us as council to know where we came from and helps us know where we're headed. So that's something just to throw out there to try to link up times or dates that we could all do that. Let's see, CMC's doing an open house and art opening Thursday, May 14th, and that's from 5 to 7. So if you haven't stopped by to their building yet, that's another good opportunity just to check out what they're doing there. And I wanted to thank Miss Tina Grauman for putting together Shakespeare's birthday. It was his 462nd birthday, so still going strong. But she put together just such an amazing event for the kids. There was tables for arts and crafts, and even, lassoed me into playing Shakespeare. So I was a party clown for a day. It was very cool, and the kids loved it. And just wanted to thank her for everything she does. I also want to direct staff, namely city attorney, to look at the current D Street, First and D Street art space to create project agreement and look into the termination of that. I think it's important just to state that we had received official correspondence from them that they will no longer be able to continue with their project. And that is all I had. Attorney report.
Yes, thank you for that direction, and I just wanted to commend you all. You all make difficult decisions in difficult times, so I know it's an honor and privilege for us all to work our best taking your direction, so good job.
Oh, thanks. And treasurer report. Is he?
He unmuted himself. We can't hear you, Ben.
Yeah. Ben, are you out there? Okay. Oh, did you see it get unmute in real time, or?
Yeah,
Oh,
he unmuted himself.
His
Oh,
audio's
wait,
not
let's
working.
see what he says. Oh, he said nothing to report.
oh, okay. Alrighty. Thank you. And department updates from our acting.
All right, I'll try to make this brief. The police department will be out in the next couple of weeks, trying to stop some of these individuals on the different vehicles that are out there, the low-powered scooters, the e-bikes, the toy vehicle motorbikes. They do have different age requirements, licensing requirements, insurance requirements based on what type of vehicle they are. I don't think the public's very aware of what's what. So we're going to do an education campaign where we're going to stop vehicles, educate people, and try to make an impact, because we've had a huge increase, I think, with the weather getting warmer, and that was a hot ticket item over the holidays. We've seen a huge increase in those in the community. Moving on to the construction on West First, the intersection there is the intersection up on East Crestone and Pitkin, that kind of wonky 4 lanes kind of merging in together. It's not really the best intersection in town. It's not safe at times with some of the angling and amount of vehicles that are parked up there right now for your line of sight and triangular vision. We're looking at an option of putting a temporary roundabout, since all the detour traffic's kind of going to be leaning towards that direction of town. We're looking at putting up we wouldn't do it at a normal intersection, but at that intersection, it kind of requires us to do something to mitigate the traffic risk and the safety for the community. So more to come on that, but probably a temporary roundabout going in the near future. Do you have anything further on that, David? And then the only other thing is we should have, to your comment earlier, we should have information on the new finance director for the next meeting.
Great.
Oh, and Bill's going to update you on D Street.
Oh, okay.
So as the mayor referred to a little earlier, I had sent you all some very disappointing information in the form of a letter we received from ArtSpace this morning, officially terminating their involvement in the First and D project. I will note that the factors playing into this were very much out of the city's control. They were primarily related to 2 categories: financing and capacity of ArtSpace itself. In regards to the financing, there's been some significant challenges in regards to the gap in the budget for the project due to increased costs. These are material costs related to increased tariffs, continued high interest rates as far as borrowing, and a number of other factors. There are questions now from ArtSpace due to the budget gap around the chances of receiving the MyTech grant because of the budget gap that's shown in the pro forma. And additionally, the identified credit investor for the MyTech grant that they would be using has pulled out of that program entirely. So they no longer would have that investment, and even if we did get that grant, it would create some significant challenges, even if awarded. And lastly, there's been a significant softening in the market around rental rates, really nationwide, but regionally here especially. And that would likely require a reduction in the anticipated rents for the project, which further created challenges regarding the feasibility of the project and further convinced investors to pull out. So that reduction in the rents would mean that even more subsidies in the forms of grants or otherwise would be needed. On top of this, I'll read from the letter that ArtSpace has encountered a significantly more arduous financial landscape in recent years, both at the local project level across their portfolio and within their corporate operations. As a result, their board of directors has instructed staff to halt any new development initiatives and to focus entirely on stabilization of existing assets in operation. They anticipate that this will likely lead to staff reductions and disposition of some of their properties. So really a combination of factors, none good. They've been very forthright with us regarding this, since the information was passed along. A few things to remind you all about as we continue to collect information and consider the next steps really around this. Number one, that property rather at First and D is required via court order to build affordable housing on. That needs to be the permanent use of the property. It can remain a temporary parking lot for now, but we do need to continue moving forward trying to build affordable housing on the site. Secondly, we are trying to ascertain the status of a $1.6 million grant that we do have for the project as it is designed. We're going to be working with the state to determine whether or not that can be, how long that will still be available to us. We've got a call coming up with them, and I should have an update for you all soon. We do own all the design documents that have been created up to this point. We're not quite at construction document phase, but we are at the development design phase, really with the vast majority of it designed according to what this community and this council had approved. It has received all of its site plan approvals, so it has the entitlements to be able to build that as it is currently proposed. We do expect to put out a press release fairly soon about this once we've been able to put it together. In the meantime, we will be removing ArtSpace from the sign that is out there on site and eventually hope to remove ArtSpace from other references that we have on the website and other locations. But I do want to just reemphasize that this is incredibly unfortunate. Personally, kick in the gut. Frankly, and really outside of our control. There are a lot of extraneous factors that have played into this decision, and one of the next steps we'll need to do is to officially terminate the site control option that ArtSpace has on the property. We'll bring that to you in the form of a resolution or ordinance, probably at the next meeting. So with that, I can take any other questions that you might have.
Well, to end on a high note, Bill.
Sorry, Bill.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Sorry, no.
Well, Sam.
Yeah, a lot of work that went into that and a lot of public outreach, but not for naught, though. We got some pretty pictures, so that's good. All right, well, if there's no questions or jokes for Bill, then I guess
No,
we
just
can.
keep us in the
Yeah.
loop.
Yeah, keep us in the loop. And thank you for everything you do. We appreciate you. I can entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No? Okay.
I'm like, she's doing
Have a
it.
good night, everybody.
She's doing it.
That is such a bummer.
Such a bummer.
Oh, that sucks.
No, just.
It's because it's like, we already went through the hard part. The hard part is doing all the public outreach. Beyond that, at least, yeah, that's good.